Yes, she becomes obsessed with this K-pop group.
How many episodes have we spanned? Like, does this all happen in
is
the first
5 minutes. So sorry.
Hello, and welcome to Read the Last Page.
A book club
YAP SESH.
with your two favorite long-distance best friends. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm your host, B. And how are you doing today, Dan?
Oh, I'm doing great. Let's just give a quick BTS of what just happened. B and I got, I kid you not, 20 minutes into recording this episode. And we were doing the whole thing. Like,
We were deep in the YAP.
yeah, no, like we already got so deep. And like we did show and tell. We were like talking about like things going on in our lives. It was like this whole thing. And then I looked down and I'm like, wait, why does the Zoom not have that usual stop recording button in my corner? And I was like, is Zoom not recording? And it wasn't recording, which is crazy. I don't know how that happened.
So, yeah.
But
Here we are, take two.
take two. So just so you guys know what you're walking into as far as vibes.
Yeah. It's goofy vibes today.
It's goofy vibes right now. Truly.
So I'm going to redo my show and tell. Wait, I just asked you how you were, and then did I even let you say anything? How are you?
I'm doing well. Trust. Belly, if
Good.
you are watching the Zoom, is sleeping so sweetly behind me. She's so cute. Did you see her
Little
tail?
tail flicked up.
Because you can tell that I'm talking about her. I have my
That
baby voice on.
She is so... I love her.
Last night I kept waking up because she was sleeping as close as she could to me. Which, by the way, Belly sleeps in my bed. So if you have a problem with that, this is not the podcast for you. But
Okay.
there are people who are weird about their pets sleeping in their bed with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I couldn't, like, I have her here to treat her like my child. Like, she's sleeping in my
Yeah.
bed with me. Anyway, but last night she was sleeping, like, we were sleeping back to back almost. And I
Aw.
kept waking up because I was, like, on top of her. Like, literally on top of her. And I kept thinking I was, like, suffocating her. And she would, like, always, like, look at me like, hey. And I always was like, do you want to leave? But I think she was also just, like, so comfy that she was not moving.
It's probably warm and cozy.
Truly. No, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna kill you. Like, I thought I was gonna roll over and suffocate her. But
Yeah, that's why they say not to sleep with, like,
babies.
a baby in your bed. Yeah.
Yeah. But I always think, like, I'm like, Belly's like, she can get up and leave if she wants to.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
in other news, I'm also snacking on these. Have you, Alto, what are they?
Altoids?
They're like the Altoid sours. You know
Oh.
those?
No, I never had that before.
They're like really well, okay. They're like, they were really popular and then they took them away.
Oh.
So they were discontinued, and then because people loved them so much, they brought them back. So now they're like labeled like retro sours.
I see.
Yeah.
I
and
like
these-
the icebreaker ones that are like sour.
Me too.
Like fruity sour flavors.
Yeah, those are really good. Yeah, this is like tangerine flavor, which I mean, I don't hate it. I kind of like I think they have like a lemon or lime one that I like more, but like this is pretty good. And so I was really excited because I found those in the grocery store, and now I just have those on me.
Me and my sisters used to have the icebreaker ones, and we would eat so many of them, it'd like make our tongue like raw.
Okay, literally. So I used to buy those for my job because like it would get to be 12 and I would need things to like snack on to keep me going, keep my blood pressure up a little bit. And I would eat so many of those a day that like by like 5 p.m. I was like, I have to stop. This feels like a problem. Like I can feel like I'm like rotting my teeth almost.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, also they were sugar free, so probably not. But like it just felt bad. It just felt awful.
It feels like it. Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny.
So they've been banned, but we'll see how long these last.
That happened with me with my chili lime chips.
Oh my goodness.
From Trader Joe's. They're so good. Well, so I usually, like, when I go grocery shopping, I'll buy like one bag or box of like a chip or like a Cheez-It or a pretzel type of thing.
Yeah.
And So usually I get those if I know that I'm gonna be making sandwiches, because I go really well with sandwiches.
Okay.
But I don't get them every single time. But like the last 4 times that I bought chips, I got those, and I was eating them so much. Yeah, it was like my mouth was like destroyed, and I was like, I have to like take a couple weeks off of eating these.
So,
because they were like burning.
do you know what I found at the store the other day? And
What?
I got them and I thought of you, even though this was not a thing that we did. I got cream savers, strawberry cream savers.
I got those recently too.
I plowed through a pack of those in a weekend. I was literally like turning my tongue so red, by the way.
Were they the strawberry ones?
Yeah, they were so good.
They're so good. Yeah, I was feeling a little bit like money anxious, and I went to Barnes and Noble. Is that the one that's still open?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you thinking that in Borders?
Oh yeah, Borders is the one that closed. I went to Barnes and Noble with my friend. And I was like, I'm not buying anything. Like, I don't need to be spending money. And then I saw cream savers, and I was like, wait a second.
That's that we have to.
Because she was buying a puzzle for us to, like, have a puzzle night. And so I was like, we need a puzzle snack, too.
This is so true.
Yeah.
I got those, like, 2 weekends ago, and I have not stopped thinking about them since I got them. So I have to go back and get them again.
Yeah.
Cream savers rock.
Yep. Okay, shall I do my...
Yes,
redo my show and tell.
Show us what you're wearing, what you have for us.
I got the Fearless cardigan.
Yes.
Taylor Swift. It is like a light brownish, dusty goldish color with black stars and little black stripe details. I'll put my mic down to show it better. Here it is.
So cute.
And I love it so much. This is my first time wearing it, and it got here so fast. I literally just ordered it, and it came like in like 3 or 4 days, it seems like. So
I feel like we had to wait maybe a month for our Tortured Poets ones. Like, I'm so surprised it came that fast for you.
Was it a pre-order when we did that? I couldn't remember.
Oh, maybe it was. Well, no, because like, so that one had in its like buying description stuff, it was like order until like we run out of stock, you know. And that's what Tortured Poets also was. I think that's what almost every cardigan has. But like also Taylor Nation has like I feel like they're very slow with shipping usually.
Yeah.
Which, like, no shade to them, but like that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But
yeah, I wonder where the warehouse is. Like, maybe New York is closer, and so it took less transit time.
Great question.
I have no idea.
Great question. Yeah.
And then my other show and tell, I finally stickered my journal, and I waited till the podcast to show Dan, so it was going to be a surprise, but she already saw it because it was in our outtake of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But for the audience, here it is.
So
I'm
cute.
trying to show it without glaring the lights, but I already explained this all to her, but this gold butterfly is part of the journal. So then I like chose these other stickers to go with it, and I love that it has a color scheme, and I love this sticker that's like a little bookshelf with a bunch of cute stuff on it, and of course a couple little fairies, and that's like a Taylor Swift.
Oh, cute.
It says red on it. It's like it's like a bow, but see, it looks like a scarf at the bottom.
Right. That's so cute.
Yeah, my sister Mary got that for me, so yeah, love it. I'm finally stickered. So
have you been doing well with your journaling lately? Like, have you been keeping up?
So with my 75 soft, you know, I told myself I have to journal at least once a week, and it's actually been a little bit difficult, which like it shouldn't be. I almost wanted to do journal every day, but I was like, I know I will not be able to do that, and it'll like stress me out, and I don't want journaling to ever be something that's stressful, but I also want to do it. But yeah, I've been having some fun little thoughts and feelings recently. So like my last 3 entries are literally just like one sentence, which usually I'm yapping in there, you know. So
true.
But sometimes it's like, sometimes a girl just needs to put one thought down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, valid.
So
are you?
Yeah.
Which you don't have to share if you don't want to, if it gets too personal, but I do remember when you were younger, you told me a lot about how like you just don't like to journal when you're sad, so you like wait until you're done being sad to journal. Are you still like somebody who only journals when you're happy?
Nope.
Okay. But good. I feel like
Yeah.
that's progress. Because I feel
Yeah.
like you should write when, like, the highs and the lows.
Yeah, I really try to. Well, I think also what I've realized is like when I write when I'm really sad
Mm-hmm.
about something, then when I read it later, it's like it's very like sort of interesting to me to see what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I have post sadness clarity or something.
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
like looking back on it, and sometimes I'm like, oh wow, like I was really upset about that thing and it ended up being okay.
Yeah.
And it's like I might not make that connection if I hadn't written it down, and wouldn't, because then I wouldn't have the time to reread it and reflect on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, I get
So I think like I've learned that like there is good value in doing that. It's like, yeah, and I also don't like journaling. Guys, okay, Dan knows all about this, but like journaling is something I love to do, but I also have a really hard time like not giving myself rules about it. Like my brain wants there to be parameters, and I fight so hard to like not have that.
that. Yeah.
And like it's like I guess sometimes I was hesitant to write sort of bad or sad things because I'm like, well, what if that isn't like an accurate reflection of that person or that situation? And then I feel like I'm like misrepresenting something,
Right.
which like is really like upsetting to me for some reason. But it's like, but it's my journal, and if that's how I'm feeling, then that's not a misrepresentation of how I'm feeling. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So it's like I've had to really like come to terms with that, and like it's okay. And I'm like never like, I still don't really ever like rant like mean things about people, mostly because I don't really think a lot of mean things about people. But I think like also sometimes I shied away from writing about sort of the hard stuff because then it becomes more real, and it's
Yeah.
like hard for me to face that.
Yeah.
But I did that recently, and then that thing that I was nervous about like came true after I wrote about it, and that was like really hard for me because I felt like I like wrote it into
Manifested it.
existence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was maybe something that needed to happen, and I couldn't accept it in my life until I had the time and space to like think through it through the act of journaling. So it's like it's like not a double-edged sword, but it's kind of like I don't want to do it, but it's probably good for me even though it seems bad in the moment, you know what I mean? Or like hard in the moment.
Yeah. No, I get that. I feel like journaling is so, it's so tough. It feels like something that like for some reason it shouldn't be hard, but it just is because
Right.
like you're talking to yourself essentially. And I feel like
Right.
my biggest problem whenever I journal is like I'm so aware of the fact that my future self is going to read it that like I'm almost trying to like impress my future self with who I am at this moment. And I'm like I'm not getting graded on this. Hey. Hey. It's like this is just for me. And it's like I think it's the problem is like I read back on old entries. Belly's looking at me like because I think I talked too loudly and I woke her up. Anyway, I read back on old entries and I'm always like cringing like, why did I say that? Or that's so embarrassing that I made that such a big deal.
Yeah.
But then I also read old entries and I'm like, oh, I forgot that impacted me like that. And I think it's like, do you know that thing where you're like, me depressed in 2017. Oh, I hate 2017. Me depressed in 2023. Oh, I miss 2017. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that's like I always forget that like you know like no year has been spotless and perfect.
Yeah.
And like it's like the struggles I faced when I was 19 or like they still can affect me at 26, and I just feel like that's almost comforting.
Yeah.
But I did find my journal. Which this is this.
Cute.
And this is what I've been currently this is what my journal currently looks like, and it used to be me writing a whole bunch, and now this says, if you can see that, you're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patty Smith. This ain't the Chelsea Hotel.
I did that with Cruel Summer. I remember one time just, I'm drunk in the back of the car, and I cried. And by the end, it was just like scribbles because I was just like, ah, la, la, la.
It's so true. And then the next entry is talking about how the world was so mean to that album, which is fine and everyone else's prerogative. But I was acting like it was my own album. And everyone was attacking me, which by the way, Tortured Poets isn't even my favorite Taylor Swift album.
But one thing about Danielle is like she is gonna go to bat for anything she's passionate about.
It's so true. It's like sorry, like it's like you wounded me by your criticism, with your actual thoughtful criticism of something, and I'm like, how dare you speak ill of this thing that I like?
It's sounding mayhaps a little parasocial.
Yeah. No, and I'm aware of it. Trust. Like, it's like I don't think it's good, but it's just my life, and that's why it's nice to have a journal where you can look back on that and be like, that was insane behavior, and I need to fix that.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say it's nice to have a journal because then like I can agree with that person. Like,
there's a tweet that, by the way, me and Laura saw the other day, and it said media illiteracy only exists when you don't agree with my opinion. You quoted, I fear this is the whole reason why we started a podcast.
Yes, exactly.
And it is true.
My grandma, my late grandmother, who I love so much, and she was just, she had a very distinct personality, and I love that about her. And she had a t-shirt that said, "You can either agree with me or you can be wrong." I was like, I want that shirt.
I was like, it's kind of giving low-key, like, not you now. but I think high school you was, but me in my head attitude. At least, yeah, you and your head, sure, for sure. Yeah, that's why this friendship works so well, because I fear like the things that we agree upon so hard, and we're like, thank God we have the same opinions, and we're like aligning perfectly. Yep.
We're that meme with the brains.
With the brains colliding almost.
Yeah. Sharing like atoms.
Yeah.
So for this episode, our topic that we wanted to try to cover was our spring recommendations, because we did our fall and we did our winter.
Oh yeah, we did.
And the sun is maybe thinking about coming out soon, so we have a few spring recommendations for anyone that wants to know. Yeah. We've got some music, some movies, some TV shows, and some books.
Yes.
So should we go like category by category, like back and forth?
Yeah. Let's do that. So can you tell me before we get started what you have? You have movies, you have TV shows, you have. Did you say you also have music? Okay, I don't have.
And a book.
Oh, you have one book?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 2 books, I have 2 movies, and I have 2 TV shows.
Okay.
So
should we just start with music and I can get out of the way? Yeah. And then whatever we do next, you start. Okay. So I have 2 things for music, except technically only one of them is music. So my spring recommendation for music, my non-obvious thing, because it's like we could always like pull up Taylor Swift, right? Oh, true. But and nobody is allowed. I will hear no slander and no hate.
Okay.
Imagine Dragons Spotify sessions.
Oh, I love Spotify sessions.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's like 4 songs. By the way, one of them is a Taylor Swift song, by the way. Oh, what? I was listening to them today when I was walking from the subway to my apartment. And there's something about I love Imagine Dragons, and this is where I will hear no slander, no hate. If you've only heard their popular stuff, you're not allowed to have an opinion. Okay, I get it. Believer or whatever is their radio hits. That's not what I listen to. Deep cuts, okay? Anyways, I just love, it's partly nostalgia for me. Like, I love their music. But there's something about when they're playing their songs live, and it's kind of more of like it's more of an indie feel, you know, with the live instruments and the acoustic, like guitar and stuff.
Right.
Ooh, it's just so like, it feels like, I don't know how to explain it, like grandma's porch after the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like just like, I don't know. It's like a little bit twangy, but not in like a summer nights type of way, but it's like it's warm weather. So I feel like it's like very spring. I don't know.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when we were putting together this list, I was like, it's so easy to find fall recommendations. It's so easy to find winter recommendations and summer recommendations. Spring is a hard one to pinpoint. Like, what is the feeling of spring? But I love what you just, like, described. I think that's perfect. Just
Thank you.
Just, like, rain and, like, I think...
A sense of hope, I feel like.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, renewal.
Yeah.
Rebirth. That's
Rebirth,
so spring.
literally. Easter's coming up, like,
True.
You know?
Exactly. No, that's good.
Yeah, so my other sort of music, I say in quotes, is the podcast Dear Hank and John.
Yes.
And I just recommend this one for, I feel like now that it's becoming spring, we can go on walks more outside. And like, I just think sometimes it's nice to put on a podcast and walk, which maybe you do that with our podcast, which is amazing.
Oh, that would be so incredible for me to hear.
But
yeah.
But I like Dear Hank and John. If you already like Hank Green and John Green, like, I have no doubt that you will like their podcast. But really, I think almost anybody could like it. They're just funny, and like, they answer questions from their listeners, and they say they give dubious advice is what they say. And sometimes you learn stuff, sometimes it's just funny. And what I like is that, like, you just are invested while they're speaking, but you don't, like, if you want to retain something, you can. Like, sometimes you learn a really cool thing, or you hear really good advice and you want to like hold on to that. But I've also really found joy and, like, I guess, like, almost like fulfillment of just like enjoying the podcast while I'm listening to it, and I don't have to remember it for all eternity. So I think it's great for like just walking or really any sort of commuting, because you just can, like, you're just like listening while it's happening, and then you can just go about your day. So I recommend that for if you like to go on walks and you like to, if you want to listen to something other than music.
Yes, that's a good idea. Two things real quick. First of all, we've mentioned this before, but that podcast is like the founding father of one of the founding fathers of this podcast. So highly recommend. We love the Green Brothers. But two, it's like I go back and forth on and off between listening to different podcasts. And so I haven't listened to their podcast in a little bit, but John Green came on one of my other favorite podcasts called Girl Historians, and he talked about World War One, which was really interesting. Just like the death of Franz Ferdinand and like all of that. And he also has a book that just came out called Everything is About Tuberculosis, I believe, which I want to read. But when I was listening to him, I was like, the way he thinks about the world in such like a realistic but hopeful, optimistic way is like the most comforting thing in the world to me. It's like, especially because I know that he's somebody who has a lot of anxiety about certain things that exist in the world, but he like finds ways to be so optimistic about just like humanity and like what we should do with our time. Yeah. It's so nice to listen to. It feels so like comforting. And so I just, if you guys are looking for that, truly Hank and Green, John and Hank. That's like, that is the recommendation, truly.
And just to keep speaking on them a little bit more, this is just random, but I've been listening to their podcast since the beginning. And I just got to, it was literally like March, around like in March, like around basically the 5th year of like when COVID shut everything down, like March 13th. And I just happened to be listening to their podcast, like, hey guys, so elephant in the room, like, you know, this whole, our life is changing right now. And they're like actively going through like the beginning of the COVID era.
Wow.
And it's like so interesting. I've been like waiting for this to happen because it's been 5 years now since that happened or like started or whatever. And it's like now I'm like listening to them talk about it. You know, I have hindsight, and so it's like I don't know, it's really interesting. So I don't really engage with a lot of like COVID related media, I guess, like, so like entertainment. So it's just it's been interesting. But yeah, really, that's just a side note.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's so, I love that you're like listening in order of when it came out.
Yeah.
So like you obviously didn't start it back in like 2016 or whenever they
I started it, I don't know, a couple years ago.
Right. So it's like just like thinking about everything else that I know to be true of their lives. Like it's like there's so much that is still to come. Like I'm just thinking about like Hank's like cancer diagnosis and like everything like that. Like that's gonna be so crazy to listen to.
Yeah. I know, it's kind of, I don't know, it's exciting. It's fun, like, not that I know all about their lives, but it's like, I know big events, and like, there was a point where John was like going on his tour, or the movie was being made or whatever for Paper Towns, and like,
oh wow,
Hank's first book was coming out, and it's like just so interesting.
That's
it's like
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, imagine being that, like loving your brother that much to be like, hey, let's be on the internet together and share our thoughts together for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, and they're still doing it.
Yeah, because I think they started
beautiful.
in like 2007 or something. So
yeah.
Wow. It's crazy.
Do you ever think about the fact that they are the reason why VidCon exists?
That's
like they created
this is why John and Hank slander could never. It just doesn't hold up.
Them as far as
it doesn't hold up. Because like I always have felt like if there were more people in our world like the Green Brothers,
we'd be a better place.
We would be living in a better world because they do so much to make our world better.
Yes. And it's like also, guys, I mean, our audience doesn't seem like these type of people. You guys seem pretty chill. But like, if there's anyone out there who's like, but what about this and what about this and we're not claiming they're perfect people. Like, it's like they're allowed to make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
But like, as far as like the output of good they've done, I feel like it's so impactful and like lovely to see. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Love,
peace and love to the Green Brothers. Baby hearts.
Okay.
Wait. Also, before we move on, can I ask you, if you were to pick out of all of the Taylor Swift albums, which one feels the most spring to you?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask what's my favorite. I'm like, girl.
No. I would never.
Oh my gosh. That is a good question. Spring. Well, the cover of like Debut comes to mind.
Yeah, it's giving green.
Yeah.
But Debut just feels like a summer album to me.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe Fearless, but because she talks about like dancing in the rain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't be put on the spot like this.
No, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. My bad.
What about you?
It's a great question. Let me go through. Let me see. Yeah, so we have Fearless, we have Speak Now, we have Red, we have 1989, we have Reputation, we have Lover. See, a lot of them are giving like summer, fall. You know what? I'm going to say I've really come around to the concept of Folklore being a spring album.
Yeah.
And if you just think about like the opening of the one, that to me, that feels like spring.
Wait, because I was just listening to that song recently.
You were texting me.
Yeah, and I was texting you through it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it feels so rebirth.
Yes. It feels like you have like a rock skipping like across like a pond or something. Like that's how the one feels to me. And like Peace is very much a spring song to me. It's like
Yeah.
I can almost like hear rain in the background of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my answer there. I'm gonna say folklore, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like,
I
"What
like
about
that.
the fall? What about the winter?" I don't know. Let's just like open our minds to spring for a moment. Last Great American Dynasty, spring.
The thing about folklore to me is it's all year. Like,
Mm,
I think I can
That's
justify it for
true.
any season.
no, it's true.
I wasn't saying that to counter what you said. I was saying that to counter the naysayers.
The naysayers, true. No, I'm correct. They're wrong.
Right. Like,
Right,
if they're
okay.
like, no, it should be this, it's like, well, but it could be any time, so it's
Right. My favorite thing I do on this podcast is like I feel like I'm so combative already about like, and for anybody who's gonna be mean to me about it, no one's
And
ever
no
been
one's
mean to me.
ever-
no one's ever been cruel or upsetting or like
Yeah.
even just like not even mean, but like just like no one's ever countered my opinion. Like everyone's been just really nice. So it's like I don't know. It's fine.
fine. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you want to start with movies, TV, or
Ooh.
books?
Let's do books.
Okay.
That feels right to me. I don't know
Okay.
why.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'll start. Yeah. So I'm picking a book called, I don't have it on me, so look it up if you guys need to see a picture. But it's called Ready or Not by Cara Bustone, I think it's called. Or not, I think it's called. I think her name is. Oh my
It's
lord.
okay. I was gonna let it slide.
Here's the thing too. It's like I read this when it came out maybe 2 years ago, and I read it in the spring. And I think that's why I associate it with it being a spring book. But if you see the cover is very much spring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try my best to explain what this is about. But essentially, it's about a young woman who accidentally gets pregnant from somebody who like she's like does not want to be in a relationship with, and so it's kind of about her deciding to like go through with this pregnancy and like the 9 months of that pregnancy and how she just matures as a person and kind of like really comes into herself through her pregnancy, which I feel like is such an interesting thing. It reminds me a lot of the movie or the musical, if you guys are aware of the movie musical Waitress. It's like that's all about a woman who at the beginning gets pregnant and she doesn't really want to have a baby, but she feels kind of stuck in like her place.
I did not know that.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
like I know of Waitress, and I've like I know a few of the songs, and I was learning one, but I've never known that happens. That's so interesting.
That's the whole thing. So it's like
Wow.
so she gets pregnant. She's in an abusive marriage and she gets pregnant and she doesn't want to
Oh.
have a baby with this man, but like she can't find it in herself to like not carry through with the pregnancy, and so she essentially throughout the movie or musical, it's about her really coming into herself and like finding love of herself through the fact that she's like loving this baby. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
That's sweet.
It's so beautiful. And I think books like that are just like, it was just a really refreshing read for me, especially somebody who like, I'm not really somebody who like loves a pregnancy trope. Do you know what I mean?
I was gonna say I thought that wasn't really your thing.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. I think it's like if I'm reading a book and within the last half of the book it's oh my gosh, I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do now, and it's like I have to figure out if this relationship that has been built for the past 200 pages is going to be able to withstand a pregnancy. That I don't like that. That feels like stress and like not what I signed up for. But like if I walk into a book and I'm like, okay, it's about a woman who gets pregnant, like I'm prepared for that, and it's like not about what I entered the book thinking it was going to be about in other books. You know what I mean? So like this one's really nice because it's just like very much a book about. It's like
There's no bait and switch.
Yeah, it's just like about a woman like coming into herself, and like there is a sweet romance in it, but it's not the main plot, and it's just. It's good. It's like a romantic comedy, but more so like a coming of age of like being like a 20-year-old. Do you know what I mean?
And it sounds like also birth, you know?
I know. And the next recommendation I have is also one that has a pregnancy in it. And I'm like, what? Am I subconsciously just assuming birth is like the time for spring?
Yeah. Like rebirth. Yeah.
Yeah. But so it just like, again, and I mean my Goodreads review, and I don't remember why, but it says, I cried because I love my mom. So it's like, I think it's like very much just like, if you're like a woman who loves reading books about women, this is for you. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
So yeah, that's my first rec there.
Nice. I love that. The people outside my window are shouting, so if the mic picks it up, I'm sorry, everybody.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. I can hear it.
My light is blinding.
That's okay. Oh, wow. Wow, actually, that was really bright.
Yeah. The lights are so bright, but they do blind me.
Okay, my book recommendation, which I have talked about on the podcast before, and I am panicking, worried that I put it on my fall or winter recommendations, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
So I'm going with it. It is The Door of No Return by Kwame Alexander, which Dan actually bought me.
I got you that.
Yeah, she got me this copy of the book.
Cute.
I had read it at the library, and I told her like how much I loved it, and then she got it for me either for Christmas or my birthday. I don't remember. They're so close, I can never remember. But this book is written in it's not really like poetry form, but it's not normal.
Yeah, it's like verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which in and of itself is very interesting. I feel like I don't normally like books like that.
Okay.
But this one I think is really well done. I really like it, and it's about this young boy who lives, I'm trying to see exactly where he lives. I can't remember. But like I'm pretty sure he lives like in the continent of Africa. Okay. I was trying to see like, I don't know. They say where he is because there's like a map at the front. Okay, let's just cut this for a second while I look.
Okay.
Okay, here I can just show. So it's about a boy who lives in Africa in the Asante Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
If you can see like on the map where that is. So it's historical fiction. So it's not a true story, but it's like based in reality, you know. And it's a coming of age for him, and he's kind of likes this girl in his village, and his brother's always kind of, you know, being a big brother, and he's trying to live up to his parents' expectations, and there's like two groups of people that are kind of like at war. Well, they're not really at war with each other, but they could fight each other at any moment if someone like disrespects the other. And so there's always like this tension, but then something happens. Basically it's about like when the white people came and captured African people, and it's like it was a very very jarring but very moving read, and I really like that it's like from the point of view of this young boy, and you know it brings to light the horrors that happened while also but it's like through the eyes of a child kind of. I mean, I think he's like 12. Right. And so it was just a perspective I like never had, and I'm like getting emotional thinking about this book. Like it's seriously it's so good, and I like think like everybody should read it. Like I think they should be reading this in history class. And anyways, I thought of it because of that theme of like sort of death and rebirth and a need for finding hope, and things are bad, and can we find any sort of freedom in that? Like that, those were kind of the themes of spring that kind of relate to this book, which is why I'm recommending it for spring. But I also recommend it all year for anyone, all the time.
Yes.
In fact, it's like on my list of like, I've already read it, but to be reread like as soon as possible, basically. Yeah, it's written very beautifully. Like the writing style is very interesting and cool, and it's just you know, we do learn about this in history class, but I feel like this like gave me a different perspective than I had I feel like we learn about like the slave trade as a whole, but to like zoom in on like one kid in one situation is like, because I think about like when we, at least for me, when we learn about the Holocaust, I feel like we read a lot of books, a lot of historical fiction books about
Right.
like young kids in the
Right.
time of the Holocaust.
Right.
So
It like really humanizes the whole
yes,
thing.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a great word for it. And so like
Right.
I feel like this is like a comparable type of thing where it's like I feel like I learned a lot. I don't know. I just feel like a better person for after reading this. Like
Yeah, you just feel more
Yeah.
educated in
Yeah.
something that you had no idea
yeah,
or didn't really see this perspective before.
right,
of.
right. So
yeah.
highly recommend. So that's my
Yeah.
book.
Yes, and she's been telling me to read it for forever, and I still need
Yeah.
to go ahead and read it. But I will. I promise I will. Okay, that was good. I have one more book, and then we can get on to
Okay.
things you can watch. So my pick for this, and again, I don't exactly know why I picked it for spring. It just feels like a spring book for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Fun fact: I'm seeing her in a week. She's coming
Oh.
to Missouri to do a little like talk for a bookstore, and I'm gonna see her speak, and I'm so excited. She was literally so important to me. Okay, so. Oh, I don't even know how to start. This book is about like so much. It's essentially a book that it moves through generations of one family.
Oh.
It starts in the early 1900s in Korea with a young woman who falls in love with like this mysterious rich stranger, and he kind of like promises her the world, and then he gets her pregnant, and she finds out that he actually has a wife and family, and so he actually can't give her anything. And so he kind of like is like, I can buy you off and we can keep this hush hush and I'll be fine. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Instead, what happens, and since this is the early 1900s, you can't just be a single pregnant woman. There has to be a reason for your pregnancy. And so she ends up accepting a marriage proposal from this like very kind but sickly minister, I believe is what he was. Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to move to Japan. If you want to marry me, we can pretend that this baby is mine and we can move to Japan and start a new life together. And by the way, in the 1900s, if you guys don't know a whole lot about like Korean or just like Asian history, it was a very, very tumultuous relationship between Korea and Japan. And so this is like a really big decision for her to leave Korea to go to Japan. But she decides to do it, and they start a new life. And it's just genuinely like goes through her life living in Japan, what happens to her and her literally dying husband, and then what happens to her children. How does she raise her kids? What about
so
this?
interesting.
It's so incredible. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like it impacted me so much. I like read this while I worked at like the checkout desk of a library that I worked at, and people would come up and I'd be like crying, and I'd be like, like, can I help you?
Gosh.
It's so great. And I think I read this 3 years ago around this time, and I think about it all the time. And the fact that I'm gonna see her talk about it,
Yeah, that's cool.
I can't. So I think the reason why I think this is a good spring read is because it feels like a story that, while it has a lot of downs and a lot of really tragic moments, and it is historical fiction, so it's about real things that happen in history, there's also a lot of hope and like a lot of optimism and endurance and strength that you see in this family and its characters. And I think specifically like our main character Sunja, like she's just like such a powerful character to me. She's got really quiet strength, and so
Nice.
yeah, I think if you guys are looking for just like we both gave really good historical fiction rec, so if you're looking for a historical fiction recommendation about specifically, because I also did not know a whole lot about Korea and Japan at the time that I read this book, this was really like educational for me. As
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah, so
It's big though.
I know it's a bit long, and like when I say that like it follows generations, like you can tell by
Yeah.
the size, but you can also see all my tabbies. Like I was
Yeah.
invested. This was this was that girl when I was reading it. So
This one like looks a little bit big,
right,
but it's like the pages are rarely like they're not full, so
yes,
it reads a lot quicker than it might look. Cool. That sounds really interesting. I might have to add that to my list.
yes, it's so good, so good. Okay, well, do you want to get into movies or TV now?
Yeah. Which one do you want to start with?
We can do movies. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can go first.
Okay. Mary Poppins Returns.
I have something similar. I'm so excited to talk about it. Okay. Yes, get into it.
I was like looking. I was like, what can I say for spring? And I was like looking at movies, and I saw Mary Poppins, and then I was like, wait, Mary Poppins Returns, and I thought of it because there's so much rain in that movie.
Yeah,
And-
umbrellas are huge. Yes.
Yeah, and they're waiting for the sun to come out, and like, it's very delightful. You know, it's made for kids, and it's very delightful, and it has whimsy, and it has that childlike jubilance, which I feel like
Ooh, love that.
like goes for spring, and like you're getting to finally go play on the lawn and get balloons and like go to the park. And yeah, I love that movie. You know that we went and saw that together, I think.
We did on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I saw it like at least another time, if not 2 more times in the theater, because
Love
I
that.
loved it. And I have the CD. And Once Upon a Time in a Nursery Rhyme, there was like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I can sing that whole like Lin-Manuel Miranda like raps part. I love that movie. It's so good. So anyways, I highly recommend if you are someone who likes, you know, a Disney movie here or there, and you're cool with like a little bit of childlike wonder and whimsy. I highly recommend this one. I think it's so fun. The music is great because Lin-Manuel Miranda was involved.
True. And we're unfortunately defenders on this podcast. Like, that's our man. Sorry.
And so yeah, and I feel like it has the weather. I feel like it's set in springtime. So
yeah, okay.
it just like makes sense because I don't know, there's rain and they're hoping for the sun, so it just feels so springy.
Yes, there's a scene in that movie. I've only seen it that one time, but I do need to do a rewatch. But there's a scene in that movie that just sticks with me, and it's when Dick Van Dyke does his little tap number at like 98 years old, or I don't even know how old he is, but he's in his 90s, and it's just like, that man. Talk about I can't even say that word.
Jubilance.
It's like that man. It's just so
Yeah.
lovely to see somebody still, because you can tell he loves the game so much, and he's not gonna let anything stop him from just tap dancing in a movie.
And I feel like, you know, there's been a lot of talk about movie production lately and and what is really art and stuff like that, and I feel like Mary Poppins Returns has amazing art in it. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but they like go onto the china bowl. There's like paintings on their like china, and they like kind of go onto it, and so they're like in a place that's like animated. I think it's like flat animation. And like the way that it like they're integrated into that, I just love. And there's like a scene where they like go underwater, but it's like it looks like I don't know how to explain, like an arts and crafts project in the best way. Like they're not trying to actually convince you that they're underwater. It looks like we're in our imagination underwater. And I love that. Like, I feel like there's very strong creative direction. So
it does such a good job of like carrying on what the original Mary Poppins kind of established as far as looks and whimsy and visuals.
Exactly.
That's a really good point.
Yay.
Yeah. So my recommendation is so similar to that, and I can't remember if I've ever recommended it before. I probably have, but I'm gonna say Singing in the Rain.
Oh my gosh, love!
Like, that's just like that's such an April movie. Like, if it's raining outside, you're watching Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain is one of those movies where and this isn't me trying to dig on classic Hollywood movies. I love a classic movie. But I feel like a lot of people, it's really hard to like genuinely get them to sit down and appreciate a classic film, because people have that misconception that they're all boring, which is not true. So if you've ever been recommended Singing in the Rain and you have yet to watch it, this is a film that I promise you is just as fun as any other movie that's coming out today. Like, I genuinely promise you, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I think the comedy holds up so well still. The music, for the most part, there's a number that, I'm going to be honest, I don't like. And it unfortunately spans for 20 minutes of the film. But but the visuals are great. But the music's great. The acting, like the trio that it follows, I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
They're so fun. They have great chemistry. There's like, specifically, I think the standout star for me is like the best friend kind of guy in the trio, and he's just like so good at dancing, and he's like I want him to get an Oscar today. Like, he's probably dead, and I'm like, how do we get him an Oscar for this role?
A retroactive Oscar.
Yes, it's so good. So colors are great, music is great, I already said that. Dancing is great. So yeah, if you just haven't watched Singing in the Rain, I feel like you should amend that. By the way, that was like one of my favorite films when I was like 4. I remember my Uncle Manny had a like singing teddy bear, and you would like press the button and he would sing Singing in the Rain. And I remember
that's cute.
I know, I remember going to my mom and I was like, what is this song? I was like, it's dire, I need to know. You're trying to fix your lighting.
I tried turning it on, but it made it worse. So
right, maybe if we didn't waste 30 minutes filming, this wouldn't have been a problem. But here we are. Anyway, but I remember I went to my mom and I was like, "You have to tell me what song this is." And she was like, "It's from a movie called Singing in the Rain. Like, we should watch it." And I made her probably play that for me like 30 times. Like, I was genuinely so obsessed with it as a young child, and it's still so good. So I just went on a whole thing about Singing in the Rain, but like truly, like,
love.
you should watch it. You should watch it. It's such a spring film.
Okay, I have another movie.
Okay, yeah, I have one more too.
And I feel like it's like it might. I don't know if everyone is gonna get this.
Okay,
but there's a movie. I feel like you've seen it with me. Okay. There's a movie called Polyworld.
Yeah, okay.
That's based on like Polly Pockets. And it's about Polly and her friends, and their whole class goes on like a school trip, and they have to do like these challenges to like win money for a charity or something. But her dad is like gonna get married. I think her mom died or something is the storyline. So her dad is like, surprise, like, I'm getting married and you're gonna have a stepmom. But the stepmom's actually low-key not a good person. So it's just like about her and her friends, and like they're trying to figure out what to do. It's so silly, it's so fun. And I was just like thinking of like fun movies, and like it gives summer vibes, but they're in school. So I'm like, it can't be summer because they're in school. So it must, I'm like, it must be happening in the spring.
True.
So
there you go.
I'm like, okay, spring movie. But like,
Laura just wanted an excuse to recommend Polyworld, which she does to every single person she encounters, by the way.
If you are my friend and like we are really close and like you've had sleepovers at my house, or like you will have seen that movie.
It takes maybe probably 2 sleepovers for you to introduce Polyworld to your friends.
Because it's so good. And it's like really funny because me and my 2 sisters, Mary and Kelly, like we all loved it growing up. And it's like the same thing for all of us. It's like, okay, well, you're in our best friend circle, like time to watch Polyworld. So like, I don't know if anybody knows this movie, but anyways, if you like fun, like little girly, like if you like the Barbie movies or like the My Scene movies, you'll probably like the Polyworld movie. Couldn't tell you where to find it. Like, we have it on DVD, so I don't know. Check your local library, maybe. Couldn't tell you.
For real.
But yeah, I was just trying to think of something like fun, and it popped into my head, and then I was like, wait, that's a summer movie, and then I was like, wait, no, it's not, because they're in school at the beginning of it, so it must be a springtime movie.
This is true.
This is
true. Love that you did that. Peace and love to Poly World.
Baby hearts.
Baby hearts to Poly World. Okay, so I'm sucking on an Altoid sour, so unfortunately this is gonna have to be done with an Altoid sour in my mouth.
It's okay.
My bad. So my next recommendation, I'm gonna recommend the 2020 movie Emma. I think it's by like Autumn Day Wilde is the director's name. The one with Anya Taylor-Joy, for anybody who might be looking it up. This is, I don't know if I have to explain the concept of, or the plot of Emma, but essentially it's a Jane Austen novel. You don't know about Emma?
It. No.
Okay. It's a Jane Austen novel that has a couple of remakes, but the 2020 one's my favorite. It's about this young girl who essentially like establishes herself in town as like the matchmaker. So basically she's just a busybody who cannot mind her business. And so she she very much is like, she wants to set up people with each other. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this kind of, there's a lot of, you know, more that goes into this.
Right.
It's just,
that's okay. It's just a synopsis. You don't have to explain everything.
I'm just like, how do I explain Emma? But yeah, it's like about a girl who essentially she self-establishes herself as the town matchmaker, and when you're in people's business too much, that tends to backfire. And so it's kind of about her life and all of like the relationships around her and how unfortunately everything's going to come back to her. It is a romance though, so it's like there's a really sweet romance in it. If you've ever seen the movie Clueless is based on the story Emma. Okay, well, Laura's shaking her head.
I've never seen it.
Okay, so
but it's Kelly's favorite. It's one of Kelly's absolute favorite movies.
Yeah, I remember actually talking to Kelly a few years back about Clueless. Yeah.
I gotta get a little more cultured.
Well, you could always watch this movie.
True.
This one, so Clueless is really good if you want to get into Emma, but you don't want to have to sit through like 1980s speak, you know. But the movie Emma very much is about like, it takes place in the time period that it's set in, and that's 1800s. And the reason why I'm picking it for spring is because it is shot so beautifully. Like the colors are so pastels, and you get like pinks and yellows and light greens, and it's so nice to look at. It does technically, I think it like, I haven't seen it in a hot second, oh my goodness, but I think it does rotate like throughout the season. So it's like,
nice.
There's a spring section, there's a summer section, whatever. But it feels like a spring movie. Like, I would never recommend this in the fall and be like, watch Emma. Like, no, you're watching Pride and Prejudice. Like, this is the Jane Austen recommendation for spring.
Gotcha.
This was also the last film I remember seeing before, like, the world shut down.
Oh,
for COVID.
Yeah. Like, you saw it in the theater?
Yeah, I saw it at my very, like, local indie theater. And I remember, like, walking out of that theater and being like, wow, I just watched, like, a really good film. And then, like, I was like, something feels different in the air. And like 2 days later the world shut down. Now it's like, oh, I'm glad that like at least I was able to get like one last good movie viewing in before like the fall, when that was when like really the theaters opened back up and we felt comfortable doing that. But
yeah,
so crazy. Anyway, I love Emma. I think it's such a like classic, modern day classic, which is really nice to see.
I should watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, sorry, my cord was loud.
Oh no, you're good.
Nice. Yeah, I need to also watch Clueless.
Yeah, Clueless is fun.
Just because, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just have one TV show. What about you?
I have two. So
do you want to start?
Yeah, and then we can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I have a K-drama to recommend.
Okay.
And it's a TV show, but like if you guys don't know anything about K-dramas, essentially most of them are like one season. You know, they have the intention of like, we're gonna start and wrap up a story in 16 episodes, sometimes 20, sometimes 12, usually 16.
That's kind of nice. I like
yeah,
that.
It is really nice. It's really great. It's like a whole bunch of miniseries. So I'm recommending this one because this premiered a year ago during the spring, and it just like it's cemented itself as a spring series. If you guys are into K-dramas, you're gonna be like, oh, of course she's recommending this. It's very popular. It's called Lovely Runner. This show is so good, and I don't even know how to explain it. Okay, let me get into it.
Everything you recommend, you say, I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, one thing about me too, this is why I always have Laura give the synopsis for every book club. I'm so bad at explaining things because I think every little detail matters, and then I get too in my head about it.
Yeah, no, I literally got, not in trouble, but in 3rd grade, my teacher was like, you need to learn how to summarize, because
No.
I would always just, I would want to put in every detail. So
I'm
I finally figured it out.
and then I'm always like, I get like to the end of my summary, and I'm like, oh, I have to bring up this big thing, but then I forgot to talk about this in the beginning, and now it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's kind of the whole thing. Anyway, so Lovely Runner, I would say main genres for this are coming of age, like youth, very much romance, and a tad bit thriller. One thing K-dramas love to do is mix genres like that. You'll be watching like the most rom-com-y rom-com in the world, and all of a sudden there's a serial killer side plot that just you have to sit through.
What?
And I don't know. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, yeah. Oh, and fantasy. Fantasy is also huge.
Oh.
So, A Lovely Runner is a story about a girl who gets into a very horrific accident in her teens, and it essentially leads to her being handicapped. So she has to be in a wheelchair. And in her time in the hospital after this happens, she gets very depressed because, you know, something really crazy happened to her, and she doesn't know really how to go on with her life after this. And one day she's listening to a talk show, and she wins a pair of sneakers because they're just giving out free sneakers to whatever caller. And she wins. It's sponsored by this K-pop group. This is really important. And she essentially is so upset because she wins these sneakers that she can't use that she like goes on the phone, goes off on this K-pop star, like this K-pop group, like, how dare you? Like, you don't know my circumstances, la 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 la. And one of the K-pop guys is like, you keep making faces. Hang on. Just like, it's all about the journey.
Just like, where is this going?
It's so crazy. And this is what I love about K-dramas. They have the craziest plots. Okay. So one of the K-pop stars takes the mic, and he's like, I just want to say thank you for existing. La la la. He gives her like this whole speech about like how like, yeah, you're right. So sorry for like making you uncomfortable, blah 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 blah. This changes her mind so much about this K-pop group and her depression, because like she basically needed to hear that, and so she becomes
depression.
Yes, she becomes obsessed with this K-pop group.
How many episodes have we spanned? Like, does this all happen in the first
5 minutes? So sorry. And it's also when you're watching
That's crazy.
When I first started watching this, I was like, this is not the tone I was expecting. And then it's
This is
so not the
crazy.
vibe of the rest of the show. Okay, let me keep going.
Gosh.
There's
Okay.
more. So she gets obsessed with this K-pop idol. Cut to 10 years in the future. They're in their 30s. She attends his show, except she actually can't get into his venue for whatever reason. So she essentially just like watches the show outside the venue. And then she's in her wheelchair, by the way, and she can't find a ride home, so I don't remember why. Okay. She's basically getting a ride.
What?
This is why I'm so bad at summarizing. Okay. No, we have to get through this. Guys, I love the show.
Okay, keep going.
So she's basically like just driving her electric wheelchair home, and it's snowing, and it's not the conditions, and then this car stops at the end, like on the side of the road, and who is it but the K-pop star she's obsessed with. And he gets out and he's like, do you need a ride home? And she's like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with you, blah, 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 blah. Truly. Anyway, luckily her friend shows up, and she's like, oh, I'm here, like, you can ride me. She's so angry. Anyway, here's where it gets crazy, Laura. We're not even to the crazy part.
It's not crazy.
That night, no, I have to get serious. She has to get serious. This is really crazy. That night, she wakes up, and she gets a notification from a news site that the K-pop idol she's obsessed with has died. Suddenly. And everyone's ruling it as a suicide. But she's like, that can't be right. I literally just saw him like 3 hours ago, and he was totally fine. And so through this is where it gets really crazy. Through this magic watch that she has, she gets sent back in time to when she was in high school, and she not to her knowledge back in high school, she actually grew up in the neighborhood of this K-pop idol that she's obsessed with, but she didn't know because she didn't know who he was, and they went to separate schools. And so she finds out that he lives in her neighborhood, and she believes she's sent back in the past to like stop whatever happened that night from happening. So essentially it's about her going back in time to like save his life. It's literally crazy. Guys, and I know that sounds crazy, and I know that might sound, that was a really rough summary. But I promise you, it's so good. It's
There's
funny.
so much happening.
Like, that's just K-dramas. I can say that about any K-drama, and you'll be like, this is crazy. By the way,
Oh my
I
gosh.
just got to 30 minutes. That's not even the whole first episode.
That is crazy.
So
That's how Pretty Little Liars is too. That first episode,
a lot happens.
so
Bam, bam,
much
bam, bam, bam.
happens.
Yeah, it feels like Allie's whole night. You know, like as the years go by, and you're like, what was Allie doing in those 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. We got to get you up to New York because sometimes the theater I work at has K-pop shows.
Yeah, I never know any of the ones that perform there though.
Oh.
I feel
They like one of them, the ones that had that hit that's like, I gave a second chance to Cupid,
oh yeah.
and now I'm left. Yeah, they came one time.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, a lot of them, like, I mean, I only know a handful of K-pop songs, so
Right.
I never know them. But okay, well, that was a roller coaster, but it was fun.
Guys, I promise you, and I know that sounds really deep and crazy, it's mostly a rom-com. Like, it's genuinely like fun.
There's just
It's
like
really
a lot of
good.
setup.
Yeah, the romance is like one for the books. It's genuinely so good, and the
I love
soundtrack is
that.
incredible.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Yeah. Oh, the reason why I said spring, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's just like very aesthetically spring. One huge trope in a lot of K-dramas is like you cannot go through a K-drama without an umbrella scene. This has like 30,000 umbrella scenes. Like, it's huge. So, yeah. DM me if you need an edit to convince you. I've got plenty. Trust.
She's got them saved.
Anyway.
That's so funny. I love that. I just have one TV show. My TV
Oh, yeah.
show recommendation, and hear me out on this one, is
Okay.
Phineas and Ferb. And I know what you're thinking. That's a summer show. But I'm recommending Phineas and Ferb right now so that you can be prepared because the new season comes out on June 5th.
I forgot it was so soon.
Yeah, so you gotta watch it now so you can be ready back in your Phineas and Ferb era. And then when June 5th comes around, like, we're gonna be so ready to watch that new season.
That's so true.
So
Should
yeah,
we
I'm not
do-
giving a synopsis on Phineas and Ferb because
No.
everyone should know.
It's been around for almost 20 years, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So true. I forgot how quickly that season was coming.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's sweet. Okay, sweet.
I love Phineas and Ferb, so.
True. Okay, so my last recommendation is also not specifically about spring, but more so just because it's a timely thing, you know? I'm recommending The Pit, which is a TV show on HBO Max. If you guys have been online, I feel like it's hard to have missed the impact of the Pit Pack. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is crazy that this is all I've been retweeting, so I can tell Laura has not been on Twitter very much lately.
I haven't been on Twitter much.
I've been just like, my whole feed right now is currently about the Pit.
But you also retweet a lot of things and I never know what it's about. So
Sure.
I just like learned to like
yeah.
I know when to scroll and I know when it's relevant to like what I want to read.
Okay, so if you've been like seeing things that you're like, I don't know
I
what that
probably
means.
have seen it, but I'm just like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's the Pit. So if you guys don't know about the Pit, like Laura, I'll explain. So the Pit is it's a medical drama, right? But what makes it different is every episode is just an hour of a day. So it essentially is about 15 hours in the ER, the emergency room of a hospital in Pittsburgh that they call the Pit. And so I am not actually a huge medical drama fan. I don't like gore. I don't like I feel like a lot of medical dramas have a lot of like death in it, of course.
Yeah.
I don't love it. For some reason the Pit has just like just like, I don't care. Like, I'm just obsessed with it. It's so good. It's incredible writing. I think it's some of the best quality television we have out right now.
Oh. And it's like new. It's like current.
Yeah. So the final episode just premiered last week.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So good. And when I tell you guys, like, this is an ensemble cast. Like, so many people are in the show, but you care about every single character, whether or not it's like the nurse who comes on screen for 3 minutes an episode, or like the main head doctor that we're following. Like, you care about everybody. It's like the epic highs and lows of working in the pit. It's crazy. Like, you're literally there with them. Like, this is my family. They're bringing back found family media. It's so good. And it's also, what's great, it's very rare, I feel like, to see TV. And I know that 15 episodes isn't like full seasons that we're used to, but it's very rare nowadays to see TV surpass the 8-10 episode thing that we see on any streaming site. The Pit is 15 episodes. We're coming back in January. Very rarely do we get that quick turnaround.
Nice.
It's
okay, so must be
great.
Must be good then if the people are watching. Like good numbers, I mean.
Yeah, it has very good numbers, which is great. And it's also, you know, it's one of those TV shows that I think is really like a medical TV shows that's not trying to like romanticize or like dramatize for the heck of it what medical workers go through. Like, it's genuinely trying to be a very realistic approach to the profession and kind of how much these poor workers go through in just a single day. It's so great. And I have a lot of nurses in my life, and I feel like just like being able to kind of see this and like get some perspective from this side of them that they don't get to talk to me about very often, it's great. It's incredible.
So is the entire season all one day, or is it just like, wow?
So we start, so every episode we start at, I guess, 6 a.m. and every episode has like hour 1, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so it's in real time. So every episode's an hour long, and we're following these people in real time, minute by minute.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
Okay. No, that didn't make sense to me.
So it's like
they all start at 6 a.m.?
No. So the very first episode starts at 6 a.m. and so it's like hour 1. And every single episode has like hour 2.
The next one is 7 a.m.
Yeah,
and the next one's 8 a.m. Okay, gotcha.
And so it's in real time, as in like like it's like every minute matches how long this is actually taking them to do things. And so it's like,
that's cool.
You get to like hour 15 and like a character from hour 1 will come back and you're like, I forgot that happened today.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
And that's one day.
Yes, it's so good. So good.
Would it be fun, like, to watch it all in one marathon?
It's a really great question if it would be fun, because truly, don't know. Might be draining, but but Haley, my roommate, and I, have been like what the internet is calling pit-pilled. And so we're like we have to come up with a day where we can start at 7 a.m. and just like watch until like 10 p.m.
like
at night or whatever. It will be
you'll really feel like, oh, this is wow, and they do this all in one shift.
Yeah. And it's like, you think the first half of the season is like, man, this is a lot, and then like something happens toward like the last third of the season that you're like, oh my gosh, like this show does not let up. It's like so good. It's crazy. Nice. Anyway, so that's, if you have HBO Max, or if you have somebody who you can steal a login for HBO Max for, I highly recommend. I think it's great.
Yeah,
great television.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
My roommate is watching a new medical show that she said it's like The Office, Parks and Rec style. Like,
oh yeah, St. Dennis.
Yeah. She said she's really been liking that. So
I've been wanting to watch that.
Yeah, she said it's funny. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it feels like this episode was short, but that's because we weren't recording for 20 minutes. So
yeah,
that's good.
By the way, friends, we probably are gonna do a little finally start up the good old Patreon.
Yeah.
And you might be able to see that episode there.
We're gonna be looking into that.
Yeah, because now we have actually something that genuinely we need to post, because if there's just 30 minutes of unused
right,
like we were chatting, and like it was pretty good stuff, I think.
Yeah, it was good stuff. We were kind of getting deep, which like we don't do a lot.
Yeah, like especially within the first like 15 minutes of the episode. So
trust it's gold content you want to hear.
Yes. So there you go. And we also have a Discord in the works.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for whenever we decide to officially go
Make it
with
official.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe for our 1 year, which is going to be next month.
Woo woo. Yay.
Yeah.
Anniversary vibes.
Anniversary vibes. We're going to have to figure out what to do for our next YAP.
Yeah.
It'll be like the anniversary. We do like a birthday special.
Yep. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. For the 100th, I just thought, this is not the same. A 1 year anniversary is not the same as 100 days. But I just thought of this. My niece, for her 100th day of school, she's in like transitional kindergarten. So it's
sure.
it's after preschool but before kindergarten. Anyways, she dressed up like a 100-year-old like lady. And it's so cute. It's so cute.
That's
Anyways,
really cute.
I just thought of that. I don't know why. I just wanted to tell you that. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations are, of course, created by the amazing Sage Timothy.
Yes. Let me get my script. If you don't know our schedule yet, we host a book club once a month. So this month we are reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. So if you want to join us for our spoiler-filled discussion of that book, make sure you pick it up if you haven't already, and you can look out for that episode on the first Friday of May.
Before we get to the last page, though, we want to say thanks for listening. You can find us on your podcast platform of choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can, of course, find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page, and we're also on Instagram and TikTok, and possibly soon, this is not official yet, Discord and Patreon.
Yes.
Official announcement coming soon, but we just want to tease it for now.
Yes, true.
So anyways, for now we want to say bye from B
and Dan.
Bye.